So, you're close. You can almost taste it. No more 6 a.m. alarms, no more soul-crushing commutes, and no more awkward small talk in the break room. You've been running this race for 30, maybe 40 years, and the finish line is finally in sight. But if I had to guess, you're probably not feeling purely relaxed right now. If anything, you're probably a little bit terrified. I get it. Moving from a steady paycheck to living off your own nest egg is one of the biggest psychological shifts a human being can go through. It's the what if phase. What if the market crashes? What if Social Security changes? What if I outlive my money? Today, we're going to put those what ifs to bed. This isn't going to be a lecture full of boring spreadsheets and technical jargon. This is a real-world guide for those of you who are 5, 3, or even 1 year away from calling it quits. We're going to talk about the tactical moves you need to make right now to ensure that your retirement is actually a dream and not a 20-year financial nightmare. First things first, we have to talk about the retirement red zone. This is the 5-year window before and after you retire. This is the most dangerous time for your money. Why? Because of something called sequence of returns risk. Basically, if the stock market decides to take a nosedive right when you start pulling money out, it can wreck your portfolio's ability to recover. In 2026, the market is a different beast than it was in your parents' day. It's faster, it's more volatile, and inflation is stickier. So, step 1 of your guide, the cash bucket. You should not be entering retirement with all your money tied up in stocks or even long-term bonds. You need a moat around your lifestyle. I'm talking about 1 to 2 years of living expenses sitting in something boring, safe, and liquid, like a high-yield savings account or a money market fund. This is your sleep better at night fund. When the market goes crazy, and it will, you won't have to sell your stocks at a loss just to pay for groceries. You just dip into your cash bucket and wait for the storm to pass. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Social Security. Every year, there's a new headline saying it's going broke. Look, it's likely not going anywhere, but it is changing. The biggest mistake I see people make is claiming it too early because they're scared it'll run out. In 2026, the math is clearer than ever. For every year you delay claiming between age 62 and 70, your monthly benefit increases by about 8%. That is a guaranteed inflation-protected return that you cannot find anywhere else on Wall Street. If you're healthy and you have other assets to live on, waiting is almost always the winning move. Treat Social Security like your longevity insurance, not your primary piggy bank.
Next, we have to tackle the silent retirement killer, healthcare. In the US, this is the #1 thing that sends middle-class retirees back into the workforce. Medicare is great, but it's not a free pass. It doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover long-term care, and it doesn't cover many dental or vision needs. If you're still working and you have access to an HSA, a health savings account, stop spending that money on Band-Aids today. Max it out, invest the core, and let it grow. It's the only triple tax advantaged account in existence. It's essentially a secondary retirement fund specifically for your 80-year-old self.
But let's pivot away from the math for a second and talk about something just as important, the identity crisis. Most financial advisors won't tell you this, but the hardest part of retirement isn't the money. It's the Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. when you realize you have nothing to do. For 40 years, your value was tied to your title or your productivity. When that's gone, a lot of people fall into a deep depression. I've seen people save millions, retire, and then be miserable because they didn't retire to something. They just retired from something. You need to test drive your retirement hobbies now. If you think you're going to play golf every day, go try playing golf 5 days in a row this month. You might find out you actually hate it by day 4. Start building your social circles outside of work. Your work friends are often just proximity friends. When your office is gone, will those relationships remain? If not, you need to start planting seeds in your community now. Back to the tactical stuff. Let's talk about the lifestyle creep in reverse. In your 50s and early 60s, you're likely at your peak earning years.
This is the time to be ruthless. Every dollar you don't spend now is worth $2 in retirement. Look at your debt. Entering retirement with a mortgage is a choice, and in 2026, with higher interest rates, it's a heavy one. If you can enter retirement debt-free, your required income drops significantly. That means you have to pull less from your 401k, which means you pay less in taxes. It's a massive domino effect.
Speaking of taxes, don't let the IRS be your biggest beneficiary. Most people have the majority of their wealth in tax-deferred accounts, like a traditional 401k or IRA. Remember, that money isn't all yours. Uncle Sam owns about 20 to 30% of it. Look into Roth conversions. Moving money from a traditional account to a Roth account while you're still in a lower tax bracket can save you a fortune in the long run. Taxes in the future are likely going up, not down. Pay the tax man now on your terms so you can have tax-free income later on your terms. Now, I want to address the sandwich generation struggle. A lot of you are almost retired, but you're still supporting adult children or looking after aging parents. It's a noble thing to do, but you have to remember the airline rule. Put on your own oxygen mask first. Your kids can take a loan for a house or a car. Because you overextended yourself today is not a gift.
As we wrap this up, I want you to take a deep breath. You've worked hard. You've contributed to the world. You deserve this. But the gold watch retirement of the past is dead. The 2026 retirement is about flexibility. It's about being active. Maybe you don't stop working entirely. Maybe you coast fire and take a part-time job doing something you actually love. Maybe you downsize the big family home and travel. The goal isn't to reach a magic number and stop. The goal is to reach a point where you have total control over your time. Your homework for this week is simple. Sit down and calculate your floor. How much money do you absolutely need every month just to keep the lights on and the fridge full? Not the travel, not the fancy dinners, just the floor. Once you know that number, and you know where it's coming from, Social Security, pension, or withdrawals, the fear starts to fade. You realize that you're not jumping off a cliff, you're just stepping onto a different path.
Retirement isn't the end of the book. It's just a very expensive, very long sequel. And if you plan it right, it'll be the best part of the story. Thanks for watching. If you're in this red zone right now, leave a comment. Tell me what your biggest fear is, or what you're most excited about. Let's help each other get across that finish line. I'll see you in the next video.